Hello, and welcome to the Finjan Show. I'm your host, Fair Salmi, and thanks for being with us today. One of the questions I get asked a lot about is really the whole concept of victorious versus victimized attitude or mindset. And throughout the journey that I've been able to take personally, and then of course supporting all the wonderful people all around the world, especially with underserved, underrepresented, or under-resourced communities, I've learned that while many bad things can happen, and many have seen some devastating situations, really it's all about the mindset that you choose to pick, and the mindset of being a victim versus victorious. In our Resilient Entrepreneur program, I spent a little bit of time going through the understanding of that kind of mindset. And I think it's important to maybe explore it here together. So what is the difference between a victim versus victorious attitude or mindset? What I've learned is we all go through this painful process of what maybe calls life, right? Some of it is really good, some of it is really bad. And unfortunately, we have to think about how we react to what happens to us. So it's not a matter of whether something bad is going to happen or not. It's a matter of how do you react to it. And the victim's attitude towards it, or victim's mindset attitude towards it, is that something happened to me. Someone else has imposed on something to me. And I don't want to discount the fact that, sure, that's a real scenario and those things can happen. Being a victim of war or being a victim of anything else is really someone else's doing on to you. No questions there to be asked. The mindset of victorious attitude would be, although it happened to me, I am not going to go through this mindset of why me, why now, why is it happening? I can't believe it's happening to me. I can't believe that it's, I've done all this stuff and this happens to me. I was planning to do X, Y, Z and look what happened to me. That's really the victim approach to it. And as I said, I'm not discounting the concept that someone else imposed it on you. I'm just asking you to think about flipping that equation to say, that happened, and yes, it happened to me, and yes, I can't believe it's happening to me. And this is where we talk about in the Resilient Entrepreneur. It's okay to freak out. It's okay to go through the emotion, but at one point, you don't let go of it, but you move forward with it, right? So what can you do to move forward with that idea? And this is where the shift in the mindset can change from being a victim to being victorious. And being victorious, I'm going to talk about that after the break, is really about celebration of what could be done based on what happened. Doesn't mean that there's no devastation or no time to reflect on the bad things that just happened, but just how you move forward with it. So when things happen to you, whether it's you own making or whether it's someone else is doing onto you, like being a victim of war, being a victim of oppressor, whatever the situation is, take the time to understand and acknowledge that you have been victimized, right? You have gone through the motion of being a victim of an action. And then take the time to think about how can that situation allows you to be a victory of the next steps. And I don't want to tell you which way to go or how to do that, because each one of us will have our own ways and our own systems and our own beliefs and our own journey that allow us to shed a light on it. So maybe you speak about it, maybe you write about it, maybe you work with others on it. Every one of us is going to have their own approach of what makes them feel really good about the work that they're doing based on what happened to them. So that's the victimized mentality of something else, someone else imposed onto me, and it happened to me, and I'm going to go down. And I want you to shift once you go through that motion of feeling that way to now moving to victorious. Let's take a break and talk about the victorious mindset versus this mindset of being victim, which we just discussed, which we just finished. We'll be right back after these short messages. Welcome back. So we discussed in the last, before the break, is the whole concept that, sure, you should feel if someone else has did it to you, that you are a victim of it. And I discussed that you should feel that way for a minute and learn about it, and then move on to how you could move forward with it. I understand that it's hard to let go, and I understand that it's hard to leave it behind, but maybe you could move forward with it and you could learn from it. So victorious would be, now that that happened to you, now you could start thinking, what is it that I have now? Can I do something with what I have now? I can't do anything with what I used to have. I'm going to have to do something with what I have right now at this moment. And this is where you could start also thinking about what can you leverage about what you have right now. And we discussed a little bit of that on the Resilient Entrepreneur program that we run. But it's really the fundamental of it, of this mindset of, I got something, I'm here, I was able to survive this situation. And now that I'm here, can I do something? That's a victorious, right? I'm here, I'm ready to move to the next thing. And it doesn't mean that you are discounting what happened. It doesn't mean that you are letting go of what happened. It just means you're moving forward with what happened. And you could decide how to move forward with it. Being victorious can mean it's an opportunity that we could maybe discover how else can I be doing what I was doing before. It's an opportunity for me to start from scratch, an opportunity for me to rebuild. It's an opportunity for me to build on what I already had. Whatever the scenario is, I want you to think about how can you remove being a victim from your mindset to being a victory person now that you're here. Because the truth is, if you were able to survive the situation, you're here. Now, we don't know what happens once you transition to the next life. No one has come back to tell us yet, right? We have our own beliefs of what makes us think it is or it is not. But for now, you're here. And now that you're here, can we do something with what you have? And through what I've seen throughout the world, there's so many wonderful things that you could be doing with anything that you have right now. There are all kinds of people that have lost, not necessarily their life, because once you lose that, unfortunately, I don't know what we could be doing, but I'm talking about losing all kinds of things, from people to things, to arms, to vision, to anything else. And they were able to move forward with what they had at the moment, right? So once you are at the next phase of it, the question is, what do you have now? And can you move forward with what you have? And letting go of, not necessarily letting go of it to forgive it, but letting go of it to meaning, I don't want to be a victim of what happened to me. I want to be victorious of what happened to me, so I could move forward with what I have now. So I hope this discussion brings up some light for you to think about moving away from a victim's mindset to a victorious mindset. And with that comes a whole attitude that could maybe embrace the new way or new situation that you're in. Thank you so much for being with us today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Until the next show, I'm your host, Fair Salami. This is the Finjan Show.